Hi everybody, welcome back. This week has been a little nuts for me. Me and all my friends, roommates, have COVID, so sorry if I kind of sound like I'm dying in this. I'm not, I promise, I'm fine, but we're all good. And so yeah. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about romantic relationships, and then in next week's video, it's gonna be more about like friendships. For starters, I think today's version of love tends to be really dead-ended, and I know we all have our stupid stories of dating people in middle school for a couple weeks because we thought it was cool or whatever, but really, dating should be for marriage. And I heard this said once a long time ago that if you're not dating for marriage, you're dating for heartbreak. And I just thought that was really cool. Like, it's so true. If you're dating someone right now and you know, like, you can just feel it in your heart that that's not who you're supposed to be with forever, or you can't even imagine yourself being with them forever, then stop wasting your time, get out of it now, and stop wasting the other person's time too, because if you're not for them, then they're not for you either. Now, for those of you who are either in a new relationship or maybe you're already in one and you kind of want to start recentering yourselves more towards God, I have some advice for you guys. My relationship is far, far beyond perfect. We're always going to have room for improvement, but I really believe that one of the reasons that we've been able to stay together for as long as we have is because whenever we fail as a couple, we've always made it a point to stand back up and redirect ourselves towards God. Honestly, it's really beautiful because you can see that the reason that him and I are able to love each other the way that we do is because God is at the center of our relationship. And so the advice that I'm about to share with you, most of it's God-centered, but I think it's just kind of fundamentals to how a relationship should work. So our number one rule as a couple is don't go to bed angry. And this is actually the very first rule pretty much that we established in our relationship. So like a month into our relationship, we got mad at each other for something. I don't even remember what it was. And I didn't feel like fixing it, so I texted him goodnight and basically gave him the silent treatment and turned off my phone and went to bed. And the next morning, we kind of just came to the agreement that we weren't going to do that anymore. We were going to start fixing things on the spot because that was just going to lead to bigger issues later on. We've stuck to this rule ever since, and it's so important because I think it really shows commitment. And it can be really tempting. I know that when you're mad at someone, you kind of just want to drag it on and be petty and kind of just carry it on for as long as possible and avoid it because we're all afraid of confrontation, kind of. But if we could just address the fact that one of us is upset and just get the problem solved as soon as possible, then you're going to save yourself a whole lot of miscommunication later on in the argument or even in the relationship as a whole. And obviously the problem actually needs fixing. Don't rush through it just so you don't go to bed angry, but actually resolve the problem without pushing it off. And my second piece of advice is to pray for each other and with each other. And I'd be surprised if a lot of you didn't already do this, but if you don't, you definitely should. You should be able to pray for the other person. Pray that they have patience to deal with you when you're annoying, and pray that they have strength to stand tall when you fall short in the relationship. Pray for their future employers and their future financial state, because that might end up being your financial state too if you end up marrying them. And pray for their future health and their future children. There's so many things that everyone needs prayers for, especially the person that you love most in the world. And you can do this if you're not currently in a relationship too. Pray for your future spouse so that they stay pure, and pray that they're seeking you out in a holy way. Another thing I think is really good is to pray for wisdom for yourself so that when if you are in a relationship, that you're able to decipher whether or not that person is the one for you, whether or not they're truly bringing you closer to God or not. Another thing I think is super important about just praying in general with your significant other is go to church with them. That's one of my favorite things to do with my boyfriend, actually. Something that I really miss right now is because we're in long distance, we can't do it super often. But I love going to church together. There's just something about it that makes you feel so much stronger, and it makes your relationship with God feel stronger too, because if you have another person right beside you building you up, you're going to be a better follower of God. It just makes sense. And I think God really will bless that too if he sees you both working together for the same good and praising him and worshiping him together. I think he really loves that. I think that's exactly what he wants. When 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in your midst. That's what he wants us to do, is worship together. And what better person to do that with than your significant other. My third piece of relationship advice is setting boundaries as early as possible. Now this applies whether you are in a new relationship or if you're looking to start fresh. I recommend setting sturdy, firm, physical boundaries as early in the relationship as you possibly can, preferably even before you even start dating, because I really think that it shows the other person that this is a huge deal to you. It's one of the biggest things in a relationship to you, and it shows that you're not embarrassed or ashamed of it. And something super awesome that I actually heard on a podcast recently last week was that you should be seeking out a person who wants to be pure with you, not for you. I hear a lot of people saying that their boyfriend or girlfriend supports them in their journey to be pure. And I think that that can work out for some people, but I think it's better if the person that you're with is seeking out the same things as you. Like, they should want it for themselves too, not just for you. And they shouldn't just be supporting you. They should be longing for that sense of purity themselves. I think it makes it a lot easier when both people are on the same page when it comes to purity, because when one person fails or maybe is being tempted to fail, then the other person can pick them back up and be like, no, this is why we're doing this, remember? And then you can carry on in the right direction. Saving yourself for marriage and living a life of purity is definitely doable, but it's really challenging, and you should not have to be responsible for that on your own. Your partner should be able to help you along the journey. My fourth piece of advice is to ask questions. Oh my gosh, this was literally the only thing that me and my boyfriend talked about on the phone for like the first 2 years of our relationship. All we did was just ask each other question after question after question. We'd ask each other everything. We'd talked about our past and what we want in the future and what kind of parents you want to be, and just stupid questions like your likes and dislikes. And we had to get creative, like we made games out of it and made it fun and stuff, but the more you know the person, the better, And this can really lead to vulnerability in the relationship too, especially when you start asking the more deep personal questions about maybe things that the person went through in their lives that were really challenging, or things that they struggle with that they need help with. It can really build trust, and it's a really beautiful thing. Relationship piece of advice number 5 is stay young. Relationships can be hard, and they require a lot of hard work and dedication if you want to make it far, but you need to stay goofy. You need to have fun together. Find someone that allows you to just laugh your brains out after a super bad day. Everyone needs that balance of steadiness and security, and then on the other hand can also allow you to embrace your childlike qualities that Jesus literally says that we need to have. Just use your relationship to bring glory to the one who gave it to you. Okay, well, that's really all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it made sense. I'm kind of sick, and I hope that didn't interfere with what I was saying. My next video, like I said, is going to be on friendships, so you guys should check that out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.